Hello and welcome to another optics trade review. We have a green dot sight here today of the open reflex type made by Holosun, the Elite 407C GR model. Holosun hasn't been around for that long. The brand was established in 2013, but they were manufacturing red dot sights even before that, at least in the factory. And along with red dot sights, and of course green and gold red dot sights, one can also find lasers and magnifiers in their offer. They're known for offering innovative features on their red dot sights for an affordable price. And the innovative features such as solar cells on the housing, green-gold illumination, titanium housings, and so on are offered not by many manufacturers at the moment. So they were one of the first to offer so many different features. This is the second generation of the 407C model that we're talking about. So this is the V2 model, as it says here on the box. So first, before moving on, I want to point out the differences between the first and the second generation models. Now, let's just take all these things out of the box and see the sight. So here it is. Even if when you look at it, you can notice that the buttons are different, and this is actually the first difference that I want to talk about. With old sights, the first generation ones, the buttons were placed horizontally. Now they're placed vertically and they're much bigger. The fact that they're bigger makes them easily reachable and much more clickable, and you can remember where the buttons are without having to look at them, because it's more intuitive to have the plus button on top of the minus button. When they were in the horizontal line, this was a little bit more difficult to remember. The battery compartment, no longer on the bottom, moved to the side here. Now, a lot of customers ask for this, so they didn't want to have the battery compartment on the bottom, because when you have to reinstall the battery, you had to remove the sight from the firearm. It took a while. You also had to re-zero the sight. Now, this is not needed, because you just simply use this tool that is provided. This end here, unscrew this, and then pry open the battery compartment and change it within seconds. Really useful, but now that the compartment has been moved to the upper part, there is of course less space here. So Holosun had to change the battery standard from CR2032 to CR1632, so a smaller battery is now used. And these are basically the only differences between the first and the second generation. Now all the things that I'm going to talk about from now on apply to the first generation models as well. So this is an open reflex type of sight used on rifles, handguns, on the rifles especially because it is supplied with this useful fixed Picatinny mount. It comes in the box. It is 45 millimeters long, 28 millimeters wide, and 30 millimeters high. The adapter increases the height for around 4 to 5 millimeters and adds around 30 grams of weight. Without the mount, it weighs 42 grams, with it around 69. Even though it's meant to be compact, it's an open reflex type of sight with a small form factor. There are quite a lot of dots on the market that are smaller and lighter, such as the ones made by Noblex, Shield, Vortex, and some others. But small size and compactness aren't the advantages of this sight. The durability and robustness are. It's difficult to find a more robust open reflex red dot sight on the market. You can see that the lens frame is nicely thick, protecting the lens within. And it definitely is designed to be used even in a lot harsher conditions than other open reflex sights. The frame is of standard size at 23 by 17 millimeters of height. Now I keep referring to this sight as a red dot sight. It's actually a green dot sight, but the universal name for this device is a red dot sight, so I often get carried away a little bit. It uses the same footprint as other Holosun 407, 507 red dot sights and green dot sights. This standard is not as common as the one made by Dr. Noblex, but still, some European manufacturers do have certain mounts in their offer for this type of footprint, so you can check these out. The housing is made of CNC milled 7075 aluminum. It's a strong alloy, adds to the durability. If we take a look at Holosun numbers, we have 407. So the first digit, if it's 4, it means that it's a classic standard reticle, usually of the 2 MOA dot size. In this case, it is 2 MOA dot. If the first digit would be 5, it would mean that the site features a switchable reticle, where you can switch between 2 MOA dot, circle dot, and circle only. In most cases, that is. The second and the third digit don't really say anything specific. It just means that this is a site of this form factor in the Holosun series. C stands for solar cell, a useful addition. So if the battery dies, this green dot site will still be powered by the solar energy. And there are also 2 modes to choose from. The first one is the auto mode, where the brightness of the reticle is automatically adjusted to match ambient lighting, and a manual mode where you can switch between 12 illumination intensity settings. You can switch between reticles in both manual and automatic mode, which wasn't the case with some earlier models where there wasn't the option to change in the auto mode. You had to switch to manual mode before going between reticles, but that's no longer the case, as I said. We have elevation and windage adjustments in the form of screws. This tool is used to rotate them. Because the screws click, they actually produce quite crisp clicks. You don't need any additional tools such as a scale for zeroing. They produce some resistance, which is okay. I meant that in a positive way. And 1 click equals 1 MOA, which is around 1.5 centimeters on 50 meters. If we look at the small details, we can see the drain holes here on the sides, preventing the water, if you're by any reason caught in rain, preventing the water from accumulating in this area here, and minimizing the chances of you not seeing the dot due to the fact that the beam of light is obstructed. So not meant to be used in the rain, but even if you're caught in rain, these are nice additions by Holosun. 50,000 hours of battery life are promised by them on a mid setting, that is, on a mid setting of a dot. If you use circle dot, the battery will naturally die out much quicker. It features a tilted objective lens. This is not an error, as many customers still think now in 2020. It actually allows the beam projected by the diode to be reflected from the lens to the user's eye, regardless of its position. So it actually helps this sight be parallax free. It's IP67 verified. This is complete protection against dust and protection up to 1 meter submersion in water for half an hour. You can see that it operates on 1x magnification, so you can use both eyes when looking through it. But you can probably observe that there is quite a lot of blue tint visible when looking through. This is actually the thing that green dot sights made by Holosun have. With red outside, the blue tint is minimal and only limited to the edges, especially the upper edge. With green dot sights, there is blue tint all over, but you quickly get used to this feature. Just you have to use it for some time and it'll be no problem. There are 12 illumination intensity settings altogether. If you're in manual mode, 2 of the lowest are night vision device compatible. The highest work great in strong daytime brightness. So I really like this large span of 12 illumination intensity levels. Just right for all situations. And the shake awake function. So you can always power off the sight by pressing both buttons at the same time and power it on by pressing either one of these 2 buttons. But if you for some reason leave the illumination on, if you're for example not using the rifle for a while or a pistol, then the illumination will go into sleep mode and the illumination will be actually powered off. And when you move it, then it will power back on in an instant, so you'll practically be ready to shoot in an instant, in a moment, so right away. The price of this sight is around 300 euros. So if you want the model with a switchable reticle, you'll have to pay around 100 euros more, if I'm not mistaken. And that's practically it. So we can now talk about what comes in the box. I've already shown you this useful tool for the battery compartment, for the screws, the fixed Picatinny mount that comes with it, the lens cloth, and 2 bags of screws. Then we also have the instruction manual that comes with this green dot sight. You can take a look at it. It also tells you how to set a sleep timer for the shake awake function and everything, and all the useful information that you need when starting to use this sight. Since this is the Elite model, the Elite model means that the illumination is the Elite means that the sight either comes in titanium housing or features green or gold illumination. This one doesn't have titanium housing, it has aluminum housing, CNC milled 7075 aluminum alloy. It does, however, have green illumination, and for this reason it's marked as Elite. And because of that, it has 10 years of warranty on the electronics and lifetime on the material. Now I've gotten to the end of this review, and I want to point out some points that make this sight worth buying, and some things that I think would need improvement. When it comes to positive sides, so the advantages, there are many different features. Solar cell, big buttons, and the battery compartment on the side. So both features associated with the transition from the first to the second generation. Then we have the drain holes on the sides, which is a cool feature. A really nice windage and elevation adjustment department. 12 illumination intensity settings, and so on. Then 3 things that I think could use with some people might not like. The first one is definitely the tint that is observed when looking through. This is something that all green dot sights have at the moment in Holosun's offer. But you can quickly get used to it if you use it often, and it won't bother you after a while. And then also a 2 MOA dot might make this dot a little bit big for the pistol use. So only a 2 MOA dot of this version is available. Pistol users usually opt for bigger dots, 6-7 MOA. But Holosun is now solving this problem because they're going to launch 407 and 507K models, which were already scheduled for release but have been postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic. But they should be out soon. So if you're looking for a big dot size, then definitely go for that size. It will also be a little bit smaller. If you value durability when it comes to open reflex sights, and if you have a preference for the green illumination color, some shooters do have problems seeing the red color, problem with seeing the nicely rounded red dot sight, so red dot beam, then this green dot sight might have all what it takes to make it a perfect shooting situation for you. You also have a lot of additional features such as a solar cell, nice illumination windage department, everything that I already mentioned. So if this worked for you, then you should definitely give this sight a try. Thank you for watching this short review. If you found it useful, hit like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have any additional questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below and we'll try to reply as soon as possible. Check out our other videos on red dot sights, and see you next time. Thank you for watching.